Uh, Hello all. JB Glancy with Module 4 Discussion Post. I had originally planned to film this at about 5:30 when I got home from school, but my dogs had other plans. So I am instead filming this at 11:45 at night, having just gotten home from the emergency animal clinic. My dogs decided they were going to ingest just like about, I don't know how many each of them ate, but like 80 melatonin gummies. So that was expensive. But either way, here it goes. I should say first that I'm a high school English teacher, but I did look up some middle school standards for the discussion post. So the first one that I chose was the ELA AOR 10, evaluate and critique multimedia presentations of a text or subject, including their impact on an audience. I chose that as my relevant standard. I think that standard could be super relevant to students because, modern students love to make and watch and comment on content. That's what they do. They do that all the time. So I really love giving students the opportunity to generate their own multimedia content, where you are, um, uh, Dr. Lee, about a text or a subject that they're passionate about, and then giving them the opportunity to critique the presentations of their peers in a constructive way. I think that that's really also very relevant to them, right? It's not just relevant because it mirrors their social interactions, like content creation and commenting and stuff, but it's also a really great opportunity to teach them the value of constructive criticism in helping others to improve themselves, which I think is a concept that stays relevant right throughout your life, right, both in and out of academic settings. For my next standard, the challenging standard, I chose the ELA AOR 8, which is analyze word relationships and nuances in word meanings within literary and informational texts. Um, so I think this is a very challenging standard, not just for middle school, but also for high school students for several reasons. But I think it mostly owes to the fact that student readership and reading levels are at historic lows. Because of this, we have a lot of students who already struggle just with like vocabulary comprehension and retention. And if basic vocabulary, often isn't there, it poses a pretty significant barrier to comprehension of, the subtler uses of that vocabulary. Even in my experiences as a high school teacher, I often wind up, chunking texts into small, close reading sections so that I can take time for the students to first unpack the literal meaning of the words before they can then proceed to things like deconstructing the meaning of figurative language or understanding, like underlying connotations. And I just think that this is a really good standard for challenging the students to look past just the literal meaning of words and instead use other stuff that they've learned as a part of the lesson, like deeper historical context or like biographical information about the author, um, to look for that deeper meaning, right? Help them understand the deeper relationships and nuances in word meanings that may be used in a particular text. Let's see here. For the integrative standard, I thought this one was really obvious for me anyway. So I chose ELA R1, which is use critical thinking skills to investigate, evaluate, and synthesize a variety of sources to obtain and refine knowledge. Um, so, I go back to figure 6.5 in the text, where it talks about integrative curriculum skills or integrative skills. And it included, quote, problem solving, including problem identification and analysis, and identifying and clarifying personal beliefs and standards upon which decisions and behaviors are based. Um, so, allowing the students a chance to do research, especially on like a social issue of their choice, something that they choose, by investigating, evaluating, and synthesizing a variety of sources, right? Which I vet. We go through on what constitutes and does not constitute a credible source. But I just think it's a really great way to get students to identify and analyze like social problems, and also like it gives them the chance for introspection, right? Like it gives them a chance to assess like their own biases and beliefs, and like the biases and beliefs of other people, right? And especially it gives them the chance to really you know understand where those biases come from, right? And how those biases or beliefs might affect other people's behaviors and decisions, or even their own behaviors and decisions. And from my own personal experience, I feel like students will really surprise you if you allow them to research things that they themselves are actually interested in learning about. And I just feel like that's a way for them to sort of integrate these skills into their real lives moving forward. And I feel like it keeps them centered on sort of real world topics that are important to them and their lives, but also the things that they're interested in. For my last standard, I was looking for an exploratory standard, and I picked the ELA 7C81, which is participate in structured discussions and collaborations about grade appropriate topics and text. I think this is an awesome standard for exploratory curriculum because I immediately think of two of my absolute favorite teachers who taught using the Socratic Circle model. I use it myself. My kids really like it. I don't necessarily use it all the time, but I use it frequently enough that they understand the rules. I love introducing students to the rules and the framework for a Socratic seminar, and then just taking a step back and letting them take the reins, watching them as I allow them to pick the topics for discussion. I allow them to, they're the ones who are generating their questions. They're the ones who are, searching for evidence about the questions that they generated. They're tackling the ideas and the material on their own, and it's a beautiful thing. They come up with questions and comments on their own that are often like really impressive, and might even cover parts of the text that I did not direct teach, which is just that's a wonderful thing. It's like seeing a unicorn. So they take ownership again, right? That we always come back to this, right? They take ownership of their own learning. And they're the ones who are choosing what they want to talk about. They're the ones who are reading the text more deeply so that they can show each other what they've learned. I know Socratic often becomes, whether the kids realize it or not, it often becomes about them demonstrating how well they know the stuff to each other, right? Like a mark of pride or something like that. And I love to see it when they take pride in what they're learning. There's just something like I said, there's something so magical about like a student-run discussion that goes well. It's like creating the perfect conditions for like a rainbow to exist, right, for the teacher. But in the end, I feel like it's just really cool for me to watch them explore the material at their own pace and in their own way. And if they need me to come in and sort of reel them back in, or if they're going off the rails a little bit, I can do that. But for the most part, the exploration of the topic and the material is theirs. They're the ones who run it. And that's why I like this standard for exploratory. Thanks for listening to my post. And Professor Lee, if this post gets dropped a couple minutes after midnight, I apologize. It's just because of the upload time. All right. Thanks. Bye.